Now, the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has vowed to take back control of the Luhansk region in the east of the country after Russian troops gained the city of Lysychansk. Ukraine said Russian troops had mounted a sustained offensive and the defending forces withdrew to save lives. Our correspondent Sarah Rainsford reports.
The capture of Lysychansk was a moment for Russian forces to celebrate. But their backdrop was another Ukrainian city in ruins. Russia has been pushing through the eastern Donbass for weeks, blasting Ukrainian positions in a slow but deadly advance. Vladimir Putin calls this a war of liberation. Ukraine says it's obliteration. Its own forces have been defending with everything they've got. But they say they need more because Russia's firepower is overwhelming them. And on day 130 of this war, Ukraine had to admit it had lost Lysychansk. That means the whole Luhansk region, half of the Donbass.
Звичайно.
In his nightly address, Volodymyr Zelensky confirmed Ukrainian troops had withdrawn for now.
Не меншу роль грає і те, що ми
We care about the lives of our soldiers. We can rebuild the walls. We will win back the territory, but people must be taken care of, above all.
In Kiev, we met soldiers just back from the Donbass. A businessman, a mechanic and a medic before the war. 3 men who volunteered to fight when Vladimir Putin invaded their country.
Russians like tactic to destroy all of city or village totally.
Everyone is afraid to die. Everyone is afraid of explosions. We want to protect our families, friends, wives from terrible scenes that Russians do with our citizens in Irpin, Bucha, Gostomel, Mariupol. We cannot let this happen again.
So you'd go back to the Donbass?
We haven't any choice. We must do it.
There is now deadly fallout from this war in Russia too. Moscow says these blasts are from shooting down Ukrainian missiles fired across the border. 4 civilians were killed. That's nothing like the number dying in Ukraine every day, but it is a sign that not everything's going to Vladimir Putin's plan. Sarah Rainsford, BBC News, Kiev.
Well, let's go live to Kyiv and talk to our correspondent Joe Inwood, who's there for us. Joe, welcome to you. So what is the significance of this loss of territory for both Ukraine and for Russia?
I think it has both strategic and symbolic implications. As Sarah was talking about there, Luhansk is one half of the Donbass area, the Donbass region, and that capturing that or liberating it, as President Putin says, has been a key strategic aim. With the fall of Lysychansk, they have pretty much total control of the Luhansk Oblast, the Luhansk region, and they really will paint that as a significant moment. And I think it is a significant moment. Strategically, less so. There had been some hopes that the Ukrainians would be able to hold on to Lysychansk. It is on a hill, it's next to a river. In the past, they'd inflicted significant losses on Russian forces trying to cross the river, and the bridges had been blown. But obviously, it was decided that with the Russians trying to cut them off, the risk of encirclement was just too great, and so they pulled back. Now, actually, in the last half hour or so, I've just been interviewing Sergei. He's the governor of Luhansk, or was the governor of Luhansk. Now it's all been taken. And he says that it was a tactical retreat. He says they got all of their people out of the city without suffering any losses, which really is quite extraordinary if true. But what he's saying is that they decided that holding on to the ruins of this city was not worth it, and so what they've done is pull back to the more defensible lines, but to lines where they're not at risk of encirclement, because I think that was a real prospect, and that would have been a real problem for the Ukrainians.
As you say, they say they're pulling out for now. The hope is they'll maybe be able to go back in the future, but obviously they need more weapons, something they've been calling for pretty much every day of this dreadful war. Where are they at in terms of supplies from other countries?
So Sergei used an analogy in the conversation we just had. He said it's like a football team where they've got one world-class player, but the other 10 aren't really up to scratch. Basically, what he means is they're getting a very small number of these astonishingly advanced rocket systems and artillery systems from the West, from America, these things called HIMARS, but the rest of their systems are running low on ammunition. They're running out, they're completely outgunned. So his analogy was that the football team is at 1/11th strength, basically. They want to get more systems, they really do need them. As I say, they are getting quite a lot in. These HIMARS, they say, are making a difference in terms of striking precisely a long way into Russian lines, behind Russian lines, but really the scale that the Russians are bringing is so much greater that they're not able to compete.
OK, Joe, for now, thank you.